Let's talk about the best game on the slate this weekend. My 49ers take on the Dolphins as head coach Mike McDaniel makes his trek back home. He spent 5 years with the 49ers. And I do feel like, Kenny, this game is the very much the cliche of like the unstoppable force, right? Which would be the Dolphins offense, and the immovable object, which is the Niners defense. And it's like, who exactly is going to prevail? It's the fourth meeting in history between a team with 30 plus points in each of their last 4 games versus a team allowing 17 points in each of their last 4 games. So again, that movement versus that or that force versus, I don't know. I said it right the first time. I can't say it again. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean for sure. And, we've been on the same page today, but I have a feeling this is where our paths differ. I lean Dolphins here with the points. Tua has been balling this year. He's, I think second or third favorite to win MVP. Tua is 9-4-1 against the spread for his career as an underdog. So he performs when, everything's stacked up against him. And this season, if you look at underdogs of 3 or more in games where the total is 47 or less, those dogs are covering 51 and 26 against the spread. So very, very good against the spread when you got 3 or more. Total is 47 or less, which we have in this situation here. I think this is going to be a back and forth game. I think it's going to be a very exciting game down to the finish. I think it'll probably come down to a field goal. So if you're giving me Dolphins +4, 3.5 +4, depending where you look, I like the Dolphins there.
Kenny, I'm okay with this. And do you want to know why? I believe you to be a 49ers mush because every time you fade us, we win. And every time you take us, we don't. So I'm okay with you fading the 49ers in this spot. You are the betting Jesus, but you are a mush for my 49ers. So I'm taking the Niners minus the 4, and I'm also leaning under as well. So the 49ers are coming off of 0 points in the second half for 4 straight games. It's the longest streak by any team in the Super Bowl era. And the Dolphins could be without both of their starting offensive tackles. You got Armstead and Jackson, one with a pectoral, one with an ankle. Armstead is the 14th highest graded OT by PFF this season. So him being out is going to be a huge loss to the Dolphins. Now, I know we're talking about how great this Dolphins offense is, and I can't even argue with it. They are powerful, but the Niners offense is pretty good too. Okay, so both of these teams, when they are healthy, they're actually both amongst the most dangerous offenses in football. Dolphins, of course, 8-0, 29.3 points per game when Tua plays the entire game this season. The 49ers are 4-0 with 26 points per game when Christian McCaffrey starts this season. So if you have 2 similar offenses, but yes, the Dolphins are a little bit better. But then when you look at the discrepancies between the defenses, the 49ers defense allows a league low of 4 yards per play versus motion this season. They also have the number 1 scoring defense, total defense, fewest yards per play, rush yards per game, pass touchdowns allowed this season. Best. So give me the Niners at home, -4. It's an emotional game for a lot of people involved. Disparaging comments about Jimmy G. He's going to want to come up and show out. I feel like the defense is pissed off by maybe some things that Mostert said. I will say, I do believe that what Mostert said was taken out of context because I did read that apparently his wife is best friends with Jimmy Garoppolo's sister-in-law. So if you've got that tight of a family connection, you're not going on and talking trash about him. That just isn't good for your marriage at home. So I do believe that was taken out of context, but it fired everybody up. And McDaniel wants to come into Levi's and beat Kyle Shanahan. And Kyle Shanahan would pretty much rather die than let McDaniel come in and do that. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fun one.
What exactly? I saw like the storyline behind Mostert, talking crap. But
yeah.
What exactly did he say? What is alleged that he said?
Well, he said it, but it was taken out of context and packaged in a way that I don't think is in the way that he meant it to say. So they were asking him about, his former team and how he felt about it. And he did seem slightly salty about what happened there, but he basically said, we have a quarterback who can actually sling it. And that was, of course, talking about Tua. So when you use the word actually, it makes it seem like it's against Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, what Mostert said is they weren't even talking about comparing the 2 teams. He was just asking, like, how do you feel about your quarterback? How do you feel about this? He was like, oh, my God, we got a guy who actually sling it. We got this, we got that, da, da, da. And then it was packaged as like it was against Jimmy Garoppolo. And Jeff Wilson said he was a lot more tame with his answers because the Niners really did him a favor. They didn't have to let him go, but he came to them and said, "Hey, you got Christian McCaffrey. It's going to cut down into my carries and my play time. What can we do here?" And then they made that trade with the Dolphins, which was great for Jeff Wilson. But yeah, Mozart does seem a little bit salty. Look, I wouldn't want to piss off a Nick Bosa. I wouldn't want that guy coming at me. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone
Well,
wants that guy coming after him.
no. No, and it's so funny because Mike McDaniel did say that. And first of all, I love Mike McDaniel. I mean, how could you not? I appreciated him with the 49ers. I think he's hilarious as the head coach right now for the Dolphins. And there's been a lot of funny mic'd up things with him and Tua this week. But he also did say that Nick Bosa is a pass rusher and he's constantly thinking about pass rushing, and that he was even doing pass rush, moves or whatever on like the dispenser for hand sanitizer. So the guys just like eat, sleep, pass rush, and that's pretty much it. So we'll have to see what he
But
does.
you said it. As a Patriots fan, I typically hate the Dolphins, but seeing Mike McDaniel's the man. Like, he's
He is.
hilarious. His
Yeah.
sarcasm, he's just so dry, and he says it with such a straight face. I
Yeah.
love that type of humor. I think he's hilarious. I love Mike McDaniel.
I do too. And, it was unfortunate this season too, because he started off being so great. And then the two concussions happened with Tua, and the whole coaching staff and organization got a lot of flack. And even myself included, I was a little critical of Mike McDaniel and putting Tua out there again. And was that the best decision? And I didn't really like a lot of his responses, when he was being questioned about it. Of course, he was extremely defensive, which makes a lot of sense. So I am happy that has kind of brushed over a little bit and everybody's back to loving Mike McDaniel again, because he's just a good guy and a great coach. And Kyle Shanahan had a lot of amazing things to say about him as well. He said, Mike was our computer. And so I do know that there's a lot of love, between some of the players certainly and the coaches, but everybody wants to win. So it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one. I lean under on this one because just the defense of the 49ers. I mean, they've shut out four teams. Yeah. In the second half. You know what I'm trying to say here.
I have a question for you. It's a little off topic, and we've talked about it, me, you, and Danny before in our group chat. But
Yeah.
how is this game or the Bengals Chiefs not a primetime game? And I was thinking, like, the NFL has been doing us no favors all year, and then it hit me. This is the first year they released that app where you can purchase, like, buy from them, like the streaming app where you can watch all the
Yeah.
games. It has
Yeah.
to be because they want people to buy that app, right? If you're looking at the schedule,
Probably.
how are neither of these primetime spots? It's crazy to me.
And the Broncos got every prime time. I thank God they finally flexed out the Broncos in prime time, because I was just like, you know what? As much as we love Patrick Mahomes, America cannot watch Russell Wilson and this Broncos offense in prime time again. Like, please stop punishing us. So I was glad that got flexed out. But yeah, I'm surprised that this didn't get flexed in somewhere. And same with the Bengals and KC. So maybe that's what it is.